didn't do the video.
Yep, you're good to go. Just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Opportunity Zone. We have Mr. Chris Lavin here.
And Mr. Nate Armstrong. No relation to the Armstrong that started the Armstrong Tower. Hint, hint, hint.
Chris is joking, but we have a serious hint here. Those of you that are seeking your next opportunity, you do not want to miss this episode. We're going to talk about that Armstrong Tower, hint, hint, and a little bit more. Also, big news. This is a pretty tough week emotionally. A lot of stuff happens.
Brutal week.
We had Charlie Kirk pass. Most of you have seen some of the traffic on that. We have the biggest potential IPO in history potentially could happen. It's happening right in our sector, in the sector of real estate. And we have a $7 trillion wall of cash that just hit asset class. We're going to talk about all of that and more on today's Opportunity Zone. If you are an investor or considering investing, especially in multifamily or things like cash flow, this is a show that you'll definitely want to watch. All right, first we're going to do a quick Bible lesson and then we'll jump right into it. Proverbs 22:24. Don't befriend angry people, hot-tempered people. I had to give this lesson to my 5-year-old Johnny. Basically what the message is, what the rest of it says is that if you hang out with folks that can't control their temper, then you learn to be like them, which then endangers your soul. Chris, how do you keep from boiling over?
All right, so this is so funny because no connection. Like, we do our stuff completely different. Yesterday on Mindset Monday, on the show that I do, I talked about basically you can't soar with eagles if you hang with turkeys. You become part of your environment, or you absorb your environment and you act like the things that you influence yourself with. So if you're hanging around with angry people, you're going to be angry. So how do I keep from getting angry? First of all, I try to practice the teachings of Jesus, and I don't even come close. I'm a human being with a lot of failings. But at the end of the day, I always try to set things up that the person that I'm dealing with, if that was my wife, and it was somebody else was dealing with them, how would I want them dealing with? Me, I can tolerate a lot of stuff. But if it was my wife, like, because if somebody talked crazy to my wife, I'd lose my temper real quick. So I treat everybody as though they were my wife and somebody else talking to them. How would I want that to look? That keeps me from going ziggity boom most of the time. Sometimes, my mouth opens itself before I have a chance to put it on pause, and I get myself in trouble. I am not a perfect human being. I am flawed all around. But I do my best. I try to love people like Jesus loved us, and I fall short often, unfortunately.
So the lesson to pull from that is don't go ziggity boom on people.
No ziggity boom.
All right, we're going to shift gears. Got quite a few things we want to cover today. We're going to start off just with a quick little memory of a gentleman that was shaping. He's really, whether you politically align with him or not, we had a father and a husband that was lost in the last week that is kind of shaking a lot of people. We have actual team members that live and work in the community that this happened in Orem, Utah. And so it especially shook home here in our office. We live in West Palm Beach. We broadcast from West Palm Beach, but we have team members, literally 3 of them in Orem, Utah. So this was kind of front lines for us. We had Secretary Hegeseth. He stepped out and he said a prayer for Charlie Kirk. And if you don't mind, Chris, I'll play him, and
please.
This will be our
I'd also
our
be
opening.
remiss. The only assurance I can take, and I didn't quite know what to do after that news with the rest of the day, but I know what felt fitting was to definitely come here and be with all of you. Not media, not anything. Just you don't do this for media. You don't do this for recognition. You do this because you love your countries and your communities in quiet ways that a lot of people don't understand. And so
I'm gonna make sure that sound comes through okay for everyone. Oh, it won't do it on that one. Okay. Yeah, well, Pete Hegeseth, he goes on to give a prayer for Charlie Kirk and basically says, God, watch over those children, watch over his wife. And we had the President of the United States, I'm going to put him up on the screen too. He's coming out and he's given the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk. Obviously, he's passed, but he's getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It'll probably be awarded to his wife. A lot of stuff is happening, and we wanted to do something kind of fun too. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's the cool thing that happened with Charlie's passing. They had 900 chapters across the United States, basically registered groups that were supporting what they were doing and helping spread that message. And they got 32,000 inquiries for new chapters after this. Chris, attendance in church hit record highs this last Sunday.
Yeah.
What do you think is going on with that?
I have two thoughts on that, and I hope both of them are right. First of all, when people are in mourning, they turn to God. When they're really hurting, they turn to God. And my hopes are that, in fact, people are turning to God as a result of this great loss in our country, man. This is a good dude that was saying the things that needed to be said, even though they were unpopular in a lot of areas. So I think that's it. And then I think people realize that this man died for his faith, and they should go find theirs. And so I think that's what happened, both of them.
I agree. And so now we're seeing a revitalization in the churches. I felt it myself. The pews were crowded on Sunday. They were. I had to move my my wife's bag over and everything to slide and make room. So it's a very, very cool thing to see happen. Hey, so one of the things that we get to do here, because of people like you, our investors, folks that donate to our nonprofit, we get to do these fun events. And I can't play the video right now, but we recently got to take a bunch of kids fishing. We usually take fatherless boys fishing that are having challenges in life, and we got blessed to be able to do this recently. Actually, we were in a small boat, and Chris upped the ante and got this monster boat,
75 foot.
And we took a big group of kids out and got to do something really, really cool with that. And what we're going to do with the whole Kirk passing thing, like the one thing that hit us the most is the kids. The kids. It's not the kids' fault. I don't care politically where you fall with any of this stuff. The kids don't deserve to not have dad. And we're a wealth building company here. And so Chris and I are going to pony up the first bit, but we're going to contribute to a trust that is going to be for the kids. We're going to manage it for 15 years. We're going to put it into different investments that our offices oversee. We're going to grow that thing. And then 15 years from now, when the kids are either adults or very close to adulthood, then they're going to get that money. And it's something that we're going to start here. If anybody wants to join us on that, you're welcome to. Just reach out to any advisor. We'll put up our phone number and a booking link a little bit later. I'm probably surprising some of our advisors right now, but we would be honored to help manage any funds that you want to put alongside of it. You can also donate the funds directly at homeinvestkids.com. Any donations that come into that 501c3, they're tax deductible, number one, but number two, we're going to take them and contribute to this trust and manage those funds for the children of Charlie Kirk as well. So thank you for letting us talk about that for a moment. Okay. Back to the news. We have Mr. Turner, Scott Turner. He came on to Fox News and he got asked a tough question. They said, hey, what's this about Trump declaring a national emergency on housing? And Scott did a nice job. He kind of deflected it and he said, you know what, we're not going to get the skis out in front of us. We're going to let the president talk about that when he's ready to, but we are looking at ways to take care of the American people. There's a ton of speculation online right now. You've even got one of the big guns in building new construction multifamily, Ken McElroy. He got on and he discussed what he thought was going to happen with this national emergency. Chris, what can our investors take from this? What can we start to see if they do pull up the national emergency? What is it?
It means that the things are going to start happening, like there may be land freed up for construction and development. Trump will start putting more pressure, and why, I don't know, on the Fed to reduce rates. He'll go after ways to cut closing costs. He'll go after ways to do some kind of tax benefit or tax softening of some taxes to help transactions happen. Anything to get the cost of closing down and the cost of ownership down. He may even put pressure on the insurance industry to try to drive insurance costs down, because that's a big part, especially in the South or anywhere that middle of the country too. Tornadoes are predominant. Anything to get the costs of total home ownership down, taxes, closing costs, insurance and mortgage rates. We'll see what happens. You know, you can force mortgage rates down even if the Fed doesn't go down. People know that, right? Because there's what's called a spread, and that's between what the mortgage company, whether it's a bank or whoever, borrows the money for and what they lend it to you for. There's a spread, and that spread is profit. So, you know, he may do something there because he sure is not being effective with the Fed. Yeah, I don't think they're going to lower rates. I'm just getting that out in front of you.
Ooh, we're going to finish this.
Hey, I hope I'm wrong.
We're going to finish the debate on rates by the end of the show. I promise you that, because tomorrow, in fact, Jerome Powell is having a meeting. The Fed will discuss.
What is he going to say? He's going to say, you know what, you were right all along, dude. Like, I'm going to introduce those rates now. Is he going to try to come up with, you know, because of you, Mr. Trump, I have to do this. You know, what?
All right.
How does he win?
He's pulling this debate out now. You guys see how he does this? Well, here's what he's going to do. He's
Sucker punch.
He's going to say, hey, listen, because the labor market is so bad right now under the current administration's leadership, we're going to have to lower rates to make sure that the labor market doesn't get worse. He's going to point right at him and blame him. And remember, Trump actually kind of gave him a backdoor into this. He just fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics guy about 3 weeks ago. And now the new Bureau of Labor Statistics guy came in and said, oh my goodness, the last year of forecasts have all been wrong. They've all been wrong. It started with Biden. Anyways, Powell can come in tomorrow and say, look, it's much worse than we thought. Here's the real numbers.
I was working on bad numbers. He's got to have some way to save face. He can't just say, oh, okay, it's time to lower it. There's got to be some story. There's got to be a backstory, and there's got to be a lot of finger pointing in order to make this happen. And not for nothing, like, listen, I hate to reveal my politics, but you gotta love Trump for the insane way he does things. All right, let me give you some examples.
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable, but no, he makes everybody think he's crazy, but he's crazy like a fox. 100% tariffs on everybody, right? And now all of a sudden, countries are coming to the table and negotiating reasonable tariffs, right? He got what he wanted, because I'm sure this was what he wanted here. I'm relatively certain that over the next couple of days, you're going to hear stuff like that, where he's going to be saying what seems to be insane rhetoric, but he's going to have an underlying goal that he's going to achieve. Yeah, I think the man's crazy like a fox, and I do know one thing, based on my short time on this earth. When he was in power, I did much better financially than when the other people were in power. That's just the way it is. I'm not revealing my politics, but I'm just saying my checking account was in better shape under Trump than it was under Biden.
You know, another thing that could happen under Trump this year. All right, investors, pay attention to this part. We have the biggest potential IPO in history.
I got some stock.
So we're not stock guys. We're
Nope.
not giving advice,
Nope.
something like that.
Nope.
Talk to your own financial people. But
Nope.
Chris and I were talking about this for about, 4 months, 5 months. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These are two stocks traded on the pink sheets, for goodness sakes.
Yep.
The government owns a substantial interest in both of those companies. They call the shots. They pull the strings. And Trump put Pulte, a home building legacy man, in charge of both of those entities. And they're starting to do really, really well.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about taking them public this year, this calendar year. So both Chris and I grabbed a bunch of shares, and we've been on for a nice little ride up ever since then. I don't know where the elevator is going to stop, but we're going to keep riding it. We're not selling it until they go IPO. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they're not
giving stock advice. I don't listen, I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm not directing anybody to do anything. What I've done is bought a bunch of that stock. Yeah, a lot.
All right, let's talk about the housing market quick here. This is not the multifamily home market, okay? Very, very different. We'll talk about that in a minute, but housing market, because you'll see this on the news all the time. We've got prices falling. We have the 18% jump in foreclosures year over year. This is something we talked about 6 months ago. If you remember, during the Biden administration, they put a freeze, a moratorium on foreclosures in the single-family housing market on any government-backed loan. That's Fannie Mae, that's Freddie Mac, that's HUD, anything like that. That's about 75% plus of the marketplace. There were no foreclosures. They extended that moratorium all the way until Biden left office. One of the first executive orders, or the first week of executive orders that Trump signed, was to kill that moratorium. Literally, that takes place When does it take place, Chris?
This week, people, within the next 7 days, if you want to buy a new house, this is the time you've been waiting for. It's gonna be great. I need to buy a home a little bit further up north, and yeah, this is gonna be great because the market is gonna become flooded. Now, this is extremely unfortunate for people that need to sell because you're gonna see a big dip in pricing because all of a sudden we're gonna have a whole bunch of supply with the same amount of demand. And the only way demand is going to increase, listen, so here we go again. The only way the demand is going to increase is if we lower interest rates by lowering the Fed, which I really don't see much significant. Listen, if he comes out and bumps a quarter point tomorrow, I'll be shocked. But we need we need 3/4 of a point to a point to absorb that inventory. So it gets people the ability to buy the houses that are going to be coming onto the market under foreclosure. But yeah, it's going to become flooded. I was looking at buying a house in Orlando. I'm not going to go into details why, because it's ridiculous.
Because you like to fly RC jets?
Because I like to fly locally. So listen, I live less than 30 miles from Trump. When he's here, you can't fly remote control airplanes, and I love to fly remote control airplanes. There's a 30-mile circle around him where there's no flying allowed. It even shuts down the local community airports. So I was looking to buy a place up in Orlando, right next to a remote control airstrip. And the guy that we were buying it from hadn't made a mortgage payment in 14 months. 14 months, and it wasn't foreclosed on. So, and he was unreasonable and all that stuff. And then finally we had to walk away from the deal. He was so unreasonable. I'm here to tell you that in 2 weeks, because you know the bank's stacking up the paperwork, right? They're just ready to pull the trigger. You're going to see a flood in the market. So we're going to pull rates back so we can execute on some of that flood in the market. Yeah, and hopefully it happens, the rates pull back quick enough.
Chris, there's 2 cities on the top 10 list in Florida right now, Ocala and Lakeland.
Yeah.
Now. So I don't know if that's close enough. If it's when the strike.
No. Like literally, I was 1,000 feet from that remote control strip, man. My wife found the perfect house, and what a nightmare this guy was.
All right, let's talk for a moment about what McDonald's CEO calls the 2-tiered economy. He goes on to describe and said that there's definite changes in American spending habits right now. You've got folks that are likely making over $100,000 a year, and they're eating all 3 meals.
Yeah.
But folks that are under that threshold, McDonald's has noticed a sizable cutback. They're skipping breakfast and sometimes lunch.
You know, I'm gonna say this just to be antagonistic. That's the word. Has nothing to do with the economy. Has everything to do with the president's new plan to get the healthy kids to school again. So now people aren't eating junk food anymore.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either. I'm selling it. I don't buy it. Yeah, that's the reality. Is people are starting to see less disposable income in their checking account because of inflation, and they're making that decision. Do I buy and not for nothing? Like when I was a kid, like an Egg McMuffin was an Egg McMuffin. I had an Egg McMuffin about 3 months ago. It was the size of a cookie, and it was hard, and it looked nothing like the picture on the menu. It was terrible. It wasn't worth the money. But some people, maybe they're saying there's better things to spend my money on than on an $11 or $12 breakfast at McDonald's. Maybe I'll go get a Starbucks coffee instead for the same $12. I don't know, but I think that these are real signs that the economy we're struggling with inflation, and the people in the middle are really being hit the most. The hardest working people in the country are really getting hit the most, and that's horrible.
It is. Well, the Federal Reserve, they're meeting tomorrow. They could change this. They could lighten things up a little bit. I think we'll take our gloves off now for this final round.
Man, I'm saying, listen, I like being right. I'm going to leave it with that. No. I think Powell's been maneuvering into a place he's got to cut it some. It's not going to be nearly enough, but I think he's got to cut it some. I'm going to concede.
Can everyone please take a time snap of this moment in history? Chris Lavin just conceded.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Nate was right on the rates. Well, we'll see.
I don't know
tomorrow.
Man. It's going to be minuscule. What's going to come out and say 0.1%? Can they even do that? Does it have to be a quarter point?
I've never heard of less than a quarter point.
Yeah, I've never either.
I don't know what it would do.
I think it's just played out so long, it's already too late. I don't think they can avoid a total devastation of our economy at this point.
All right. Chris, I got to switch gears on us. We've got a whole bunch of investors that are going to be in this office in just not too long a time. So I'm going to.
Wait a minute, let me look out here. They might be out here. Oh, they're starting to show up.
We have a deal that we've been working on really hard, and we are bringing it to you very, very soon. We can't publicly talk about it yet. There's some contracts in place. There's literally a government contract in place that I'm not allowed to talk about. It's under NDA, and we'd love to share the details with you. If you're looking for an investment opportunity, this is, I was going to say the deal of the year, but I'm going to change it to the deal of the decade.
Yeah, this is strong. And it's a personal passion of mine. So this is one of those deals that we can't tell the truth about. What do I mean by that? That the deal is so real and so significant that it's almost too hard to believe. But that's where it is. And you know, I'm all in on the deal. Nate's all in on the deal, and it's going to be huge. And here's the amazing thing. It's kind of a story that goes along with this, but it's funny how God's will plays out in life. And if you're intelligent enough or experienced enough or had enough, you know, smacking your head against the wall in life, you can see where God steps in. And this is a deal where God has stepped in, and it's maneuvered our company into a position where on exit, you know, our profits will be in excess of $200 million. And we'll be able to use that money to do things like help Kirk's kids out, to have a positive impact in the world, and in a way that neither one of us individually dreamed we were going to be able to do. That's the kind of deal we're talking about. Again, we can't discuss it publicly. Please, for the love of everything. Team, can you put up the link for the advisors, or for the wait list? I'm sorry.
We'll go straight to advisors right now, guys. It's the homeinvest.com/book. If you're following us online and you don't see a link getting posted, don't worry. Just put the word call in the comment section. CALL. Go ahead and put that there now. CALL. And then our team will send you a message. We'll reply to your message with the actual link that you can book a call with our team. And I'm going to dual purpose that. That's number one, if you want to hear about this deal, or number two, if you're interested in
Contributing to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, contributing to what Charlie Kirk's kids trust, the one that we're going to manage here and watch it grow, then go ahead and jump on with our advisors. All you got to do is put the word CALL, call, in the comment section, and then our team can talk to you about both. Anything else you want to hit today, Chris?
No. I just want to vocalize this one more time. God is good in all things, and absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. I want you all to just take a moment and realize what a blessing life is. And if you're alive and you're breathing it, look at the people around you and share a smile or a kind thought, a word of encouragement, so you don't have any regrets if things go sideways in your life. Other than that, God bless, and thank you all for being here.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye-bye.